My first question is, what do you feel is the main problem in terms of handicapped parking spots here in Richmond County?
Well, it's a safety issue. It's an enforcement issue of safety, not convenience. When you're in a wheelchair and you have to travel through the traffic lanes behind vehicles because those spots are not available, those spots are designated there because they also are the start point of an accessible pathway. So if you're not in that pathway where people are going to be more aware, that means you're traveling down lanes of traffic behind SUVs, large trucks, and I'm no larger than a 12-year-old in a wheelchair. So it's going to make it difficult for him to see me, and it's very easy to get struck without the driver knowing you're there.
So what needs to change here in Richmond County?
We need active enforcement. Calling when you see the violation, usually those hours of the day, things like that. The police force can be very busy, and I understand, and I wouldn't want it any other way, where, dangerous calls or calls where people are in direct need should take priority. However, I don't see where the Sheriff's Department refusal to, when they're not real busy, or when they're just patrolling areas, when they go on a call to one of the shopping centers for a shoplifter, that if they see an active violation, why it's not written up. I don't understand that.
How can people tell if there's an active violation?
Well, there's several ways. For one thing, you've got to see that it's marked as a disability parking spot marked correctly. If it's out of compliance, then it's hard to make a violation stick. So you really need to look for on the vehicle. Do they have a disability tag? Do they have a hanging placard? Many people use the placard, Debbie drives me, that's her vehicle. So I utilize a disability placard, not a tag, because I'm not always in the vehicle. We use it when I'm in the vehicle.
And my last question is, what would you tell people who aren't committing this violation and basically getting away with it?
Well, I don't think they understand that, when they take up that spot, and they really don't need it, when they take up that spot, that means that somebody's going to be trying to discharge a wheelchair into the traffic zone, especially if they unload from the rear like I do. In a standard parking spot, that means I'm actually trying to set the wheelchair down in the traffic lane. It presents a real problem with safety. It's also a hazard to the other drivers in the parking lot because you can't really blame a driver for hitting you when they can't see you at all. When you're not where you're at, you're not supposed to be there. But somebody else is in that spot, and it often forces those individuals to have to take that route. And it's dangerous. If you look at when you talk about pedestrian strikes, although there are not as many fatals, there's actually a lot more pedestrian strikes in parking lots and those types of facilities than there are on the public streets. And that brings concern because a wheelchair, you're strapped in. It flips over, you're going to get drugged until the car stops.